stranger?
What brings us in is exactly No, this is one of the areas where we actually have enough room and I can talk to people and we can still all properly social distance. So I'm here just kind of answering questions, whatever people are curious about. I do my best to tell you entertaining story.
Okay. Yeah, pick one.
Man, that's like walking up to a comedian and saying, "Tell me a joke." All right, so in 1838, a man by the name of Franklin Gorin owned the cave. And one of his co-business partners had a nephew named Charles Harvey. Now, Charles, he, there was a wedding going on the surface. There were festivities. He was all dressed up, and he decided, I'm just going to tag along on one of the cave tours. I haven't been down the cave in a while. So he goes off on the tour, and they're walking through, and about a quarter mile that way, they stop to get a drink at a place called Wandering Willie's Spring. And so, they're sitting down there, they're getting a cup of water. He took off his top hat, sat it down on a rock. He didn't want to get it dirty or anything. And so, one thing leads to another. The group gets up to go. They head off down the passageway, all good laughs, and wait, where's my hat? So quickly yells to the group to stop. We have to go back. I forgot my hat. And of course, the guy says, I'm sorry, Charles, we have to keep on going, but I promise you at the end of the tour, we'll come back and find your hat. Well, what do you think Charles thought about that? He did not like it. So he said, no, we have to go back right now. And so they got a little bit of a discussion. And they came to a compromise. They let Charles go back and get his hat. Alone. So Charles, take a lantern. That lantern would have looked just like what you see right there. Go back down the passageway, find your hat. When you do, continue back down the way we're going. Eventually, you'll see a large rock on the side of the passageway that looks like a giant coffin. Well, that's the giant's coffin. Take the first right-hand turn after the coffin. We'll be waiting for you down there. So they continued on down the passageway. Charles went back, and folks, don't be worried, because he did find his hat. And so, he puts the hat back on and hightails it back to catch up with his tour. And so, he's working, he's hurrying, those lanterns, they didn't have any glass around us, so he's only able to keep a decently brisk walk. Walk any faster and he'll blow a lantern out. So, eventually he finds the coffin, but he makes a mistake. And that first right-hand turn after the coffin is actually behind the coffin. And he thought he had to go a little bit further, and he took the second turn. He goes out this really tight passageway, kind of crawling over rocks. Now, he had done stuff like this on other tours. So, it wasn't any different. He thought that's where they went. So he's hurrying down the passageway. When he gets to a corner, he looks, thinks, okay, I think they went this way. And he goes down that way, and he keeps on going deeper and deeper into the cave. Hours go by, and he hasn't even gotten close to finding them yet. And so, eventually, though, his lantern begins to run out of fuel. The wick burns lower and lower. He catches a plan, though. A plan so cunning, you could put a tail on it and call it a fox. His idea is, well, they're carrying lanterns, right? So if I blow out mine, I should be able to see the light of theirs coming from around the corner. So he holds up his lantern, gets ready, and blows it out. And it's plunged into darkness. There's no light around him. And being the smart man that he was not carrying a match. And so he's stuck down there. He can't move. He can't see. It is dark. And someone just hit our lights. All right, folks, don't worry. I'm going to turn the lights back on. Someone just hit our button.
It was just getting good.
Man, that was good timing for the story.
The lights go out. Oh, there they come back on.
Someone got it before I could get to it. All right. Well, the lights did go off for Charles.
That's great.
And
It might have been him
he's
talking
sitting
to
there,
us.
He's listening. He's hoping. He's praying that he's going to find someone's going to find him. And he begins to hear something. Thump, 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 thump. He thinks they're footsteps. He yells out into the cave, I'm lost down here, help me! But there's no response. As time goes on, the footsteps come back faster this time. Thump, 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 thump. He yells out again, I'm lost! But there's no response. So he does the only thing he can do. The silence is driving him mad. The darkness is driving him crazy. So he grabs two rocks, starts banging them together in the cave. trying to make as much noise as possible, trying to stay sane. He does this for hours and hours and hours until he sees something. Folks, he sees a light. There's a lantern coming down the passageway. They had found Charles Harvey. The guide runs up to him saying, "Thank you, Charles, so much for bringing those, banging those rocks together. That's the only way we were able to find you." Charles said, "I didn't do it for you. I did it for the silence." They got Charles out of the cave that day, and he still holds the record for the longest time being lost and found alive at 39 and a half hours. How's that for a story?
Oh, that's a good
It's a
story.
good story. Good job.